You think pickup trucks are still built to last, tough, reliable, unstoppable. That's the image they sell you. That's the story everyone still believes. But something has changed, and it's already happening. The death of reliable pickup trucks has already started, quietly, slowly, and most people haven't noticed it yet. Because on the surface, everything looks better than ever. More power, more tech, more features. But underneath all that, reliability is disappearing. And it's not by accident, it's being engineered out. Let's start with what made trucks reliable in the first place. Simplicity. Older trucks were built around mechanical systems, fewer electronics, fewer connections, fewer failure points. If something broke, it stayed isolated. You fixed it and kept going. That's why those trucks lasted 200,000 miles, 300,000 miles, sometimes more. But modern trucks, they're not simple anymore. They're networks. Everything is connected. Engine control, transmission, sensors, infotainment, driver assist, dozens of modules, all talking to each other constantly. And that changes everything. Because now, when one part fails, it doesn't stay contained. It spreads. A small issue becomes a system issue. A system issue becomes a major failure. And suddenly, your reliable truck isn't reliable anymore. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, because this isn't just about complexity. It's about design priorities. Modern trucks are no longer built for long-term durability. They're built for efficiency, regulations, technology integration, not longevity. That means thinner materials, tighter tolerances, higher operating temperatures, more stress on components, less room for error. And over time, that stress builds until something gives. And when it does, it doesn't fail gradually. It fails fast. No warning, no slow decline. Just one day, something stops working and everything changes. Now add software into the mix, because today's trucks don't just rely on hardware, they rely on code. And code can fail in ways mechanical parts never could. Glitches, updates, compatibility issues. One software problem can affect multiple systems, throttle response, fuel delivery, transmission behavior, all controlled digitally. So even if the hardware is fine, the truck can still fail. Now think about repairs. Older trucks, simple tools, local mechanic, quick fixes. Modern trucks, dealer diagnostics, special software, locked systems, expensive calibration, even basic repairs have become complex procedures and expensive ones. So reliability isn't just about how often something breaks anymore. It's about how easy it is to recover when it does. And today, recovery is harder than ever. More time, more money, more dependency. And that's where the real shift happens. Because reliability used to mean it won't break. Now it means when it breaks, it's manageable. But modern trucks, they fail in a way that's not manageable. And that's the difference. Now here's the deeper truth. Truck manufacturers didn't accidentally make trucks less reliable. They changed the model from long-term durability to controlled life cycle, shorter ownership cycles, more frequent upgrades, more repeat buyers. Think about it. If trucks lasted 20 years like they used to, how often would people buy new ones? Exactly. So instead of building trucks that last forever, they build trucks that perform perfectly early, then become progressively more expensive to maintain. Not unusable, not completely broken, just costly enough that replacing them feels like the smarter choice. And that's the strategy. It's not about making bad trucks. It's about making trucks that don't stay good for too long. And that's where reliability quietly disappears. Not overnight, but over time. Now here's the breaking point. It's when you realize your truck didn't lose reliability by chance. It lost it by design. And once you see that, you start thinking differently. Smart truck owners already have. They're not chasing the newest model anymore. They're asking better questions. How complex is this system? How many failure points does it have? How easy is it to repair? Because they understand something most people don't. Reliability isn't about how a truck performs when it's new. It's about how it behaves when it's not. And in today's trucks, That's where the real problem begins. But there is still a way to avoid it, a way to choose trucks that are built to last, not just built to sell. And once you understand that difference, you'll never look at a new truck the same way again. Make a scene, because once that illusion breaks, you stop seeing a truck as a product and start seeing it as a system designed with limits, hidden limits, not obvious on day one, not visible in the showroom, but very real over time. Now think about this. When you test drive a truck, what are you really experiencing? The engine at its best, the transmission at its smoothest, everything perfectly calibrated. You're not seeing wear, you're not seeing stress, you're not seeing time, you're seeing the highlight reel. And that's what sells you. But ownership is the behind-the-scenes version. Cold starts, long drives, heavy loads, heat, dust, time. That's where the truth shows up. And modern trucks, they don't reveal that truth immediately. They delay it. They perform flawlessly until they don't. And when that moment comes, it doesn't feel like normal wear. It feels sudden, unexpected, because you were never shown this side of the truck. Now here's where it gets even deeper, because most people blame themselves. Maybe I didn't maintain it right. Maybe I pushed it too hard. But the reality is, the margin for error is smaller now. Modern systems are optimized, not overbuilt. They operate closer to their limits, which means there's less room for mistakes, less room for aging, and definitely less room for neglect. So the truck doesn't just need maintenance, it needs precision. And precision costs time, costs money, costs attention. Now compare that to older trucks. They were forgiving. Miss an oil change, they'd survive. Push them hard, they'd handle it, because they were built with buffer. Modern trucks, that buffer is gone. And without that buffer, reliability becomes fragile. Now imagine two moments. One, you're on a long road, far from the city. In an older truck, you hear a strange noise. You keep going. Maybe fix it later. In a modern truck, a warning appears. The system limits performance, or worse, shuts something down. Not because it's completely broken, but because the system decides it's safer to stop. And in that moment, you realize something important. You're not fully in control anymore. The truck is. Now step back, because this isn't just about reliability. It's about trust. Do you trust the machine to keep going when things aren't perfect? Or does the machine decide when it's done? That difference is everything. And the people who understand this, they choose differently. They don't just ask what a truck can do. They ask what it will do when things go wrong. Because that's the moment that defines it. Not the showroom, not the test drive, but the unexpected. And once you start thinking like that, you stop chasing the newest thing and start valuing the right thing. Durability, simplicity, control. Because in the end, the best truck isn't the most advanced one. It's the one that stays with you when everything else starts to fall apart.